Hey guys, so now we're back and we've just made our platform, and now another really important thing that's in most games is like triggers. So come on here and press something and an action happens. So what we're going to be doing is making a very simple button inside the game, so that people can do actions in that. So first thing we're going to do for an action like this is actually go to edit and then project settings. And then within this we can go down to input, and this covers all of the different player inputs that people have. And we're going to need to or remove them. So up here we've got action mapping. Go here, and this is going to be for a reference for us. We're going to say use, because we're going to want to use our button that we're making. And for this, we're going to use our keyboard, and we're going to use our. So if we turn it on with E, all right, and we'll be using our E button there. So we've got that set. There's no save or anything we have to do. It automatically saves it because you've made it, and so we can exit that like that. Now what we need to be doing is creating our actual blueprint to be our button. So if I right click here and go to blueprint class, and we're going to create an actor, and we can see that down there. We're going to name it button, and we've got our little sphere down there that we can use. So now we've got that there, we can double click on that and it's going to open up in our viewport. And there's a couple things that we need to make for this. So first things first, just so something easy so we can see it and things like that, we're actually going to add a component and we'll just make it a simple cube. Okay, zoom out of that a little bit, and you can see we've got our cube there, and that's fine. Alright, might come up a little bit. Alright, I'm just zooming out a little bit so we can see that, because we are going to have to also add some way to know if we're close enough to that cube to turn it on. Alright, so we're going to add a box collision in here, and we're going to make it a bit bigger so that our player can be within that to turn on the button. Okay. Finally, how we're going to know if the button's turning on? Well, we can add a point light to this, and so we'll turn on the light and turn off the light. Okay. Instead of making this bigger and smaller, we might move it up here a little bit. Cool. So that way, walk in there, turn it on, light lights up, and we've made something really useful in our game. So for this, I mean, you think about it, you walk up to a door, you press the E button, so you could have something pop up, press E to open door, and then you press E and this will open it. So it's one of those actions that's quite important within games. So one thing we're going to have to change about this light though, because if we turn the light on, we want the start intensity to be 0. Compile save, because we've done a little bit of stuff here, and then we can move on from there. So now what we need to be doing is moving through to code this project. Okay, for this we don't actually need those two. We're predominantly going to be focusing on event begin play. So from this, what we're going to be doing is enabling that input. So remember, we made that button. So we made that input. We're under edit program settings, and then we need to get the player the controller. So get player controller. So that's primarily the most important part, because it's saying, hey, we're going to be using the player for this, and they're going to be able to use their keyboard to actually type things in. So now we need to make a variable, and so this variable is important because we made that box. I'm going to make this is overlapped. Is overlapped. So that's our variable that we're making, because we want to add a condition in that, hey, we can only turn this on if we're overlapping the box collision. Okay. So now we need to make a couple things, and we're actually making this variable, what am I trying to say, relevant. Okay, so if I go to box, right click on that and go add event, begin overlap, and it always takes me down there, and I don't know why. I'd love to be able to tell you guys why it does that, but I simply don't know. And we go back to our box, we're going to add another event, and we're going to make it end overlap. And you might have seen there that because I've got my begin overlap, it doesn't let me select it again, which is always handy because we don't want to be selecting that. So now we've got that, and so to add to this, set overlap is what we need to get. So we're setting this overlap, Control C, Control V, and we've got our 2 here, so we've got that. And so all we're telling this now is, hey, on component begin overlap, yes, it's overlapped. Alright, so it's pretty simple, alright, but on end overlap, it's not overlapped. Okay, so that's actually setting the context for this, if that makes sense. So now the next step is actually adding in the use of that button that we've just made. Okay, so input, put action, use. So if you see there's jump and stuff, and there's use that we made, so that's referencing what we made in the project settings. We need a branch for this because we need a true. We need a true function. So saying, yep, it's true, this has been pressed. And we're going to set our intensity. We want to make sure we're selecting the point light because that's what we have over here. Alright, and it gives us, because we said that, it gives us our point light attached. And then we need to make sure our condition though is overlapped. Okay, so we're saying, yep, it has been overlapped, so we can turn that on. Okay, so we've got those different there, and we'll set our intensity to 1,000,000. Is that 1,000,000? 3, wait, what's that? Too many. What's that? 3, there we go. Set it to that. Alright, be a nice bright light, we'll definitely know if it's on. Okay, so for now what we should be able to do, if I go compile, save, and we press play, nothing's there. Alright, so the important part that we need to do now is if I minimize this window, drag our button into our scene, bring it up out of the floor. So now looking at this, we've got our platform over there, we've got our button over here. So now if I press play, our button's in. So if I walk into this, nothing happens. If I press E, we have a very bright light. And I can walk out and in. Alright, but nothing's happening really, is it? Because you've got that on. We normally would like to be able to control that. Okay, and so for that, what we're going to do, what we want to do is create an off feature as well. So as my parents always used to say, you don't open doors in games or anywhere else, or you're born in a tent, etc, etc. So what we're going to do is go up here to File, Project Settings, and we need another input. Okay, we've already got our input for use, which is fine because we want to be using things. We've only got E at the moment, so if I add one, I'm going to go to keyboard. So E and R are right next to each other, so I'll probably use R, and we'll leave it at that. So what we can do now, if I open up this blueprint, so we've got our action there. So we can actually go here. We can go to where's keyboard? We can go to keyboard. No, we can't. So I might just go to E. Where are we? Scroll down. Where are we? Nope. What if I type in? Yeah, that's better. We want to find R. That's here. I'm trying to find E and I want R. We've got that. So you can see here that you can actually reference. So instead of input action used, we can actually use the R key as a reference as well. And then we can actually use this stuff here. So if I highlight that, Control C, Control V, and if pressed, true, point light, intensity, 0, compile, save. Alright, so now we've got that set up. If I press play, we can come over, press E, it turns on, press R, it turns off. If I press E and then leave there and press R, I can't actually turn it off because we've set those parameters in place of the actual box there, which is good because in a game, if you're within the distance of a door that a normal person would be able to open it, you want to be able to open and close it, right? But not if you're walking 1,000,000 kilometers away. Alright, so now we've made a really important step towards actually being able to put important things in games that are usable. We've got our light that we can use, we've got our platform that we can use as well. So hopefully this has been informative, and I hope you're looking forward to the next video.